All right. Back with another one.
Yo.
They love these, man. They can't get enough of these, so we got to give them more.
Mm.
All right. Here we go. Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law to get out of my house after she traveled 3 hours to come visit?
That's crazy.
Surface level, I'm already saying, goddamn, what are you doing, bro? Gotta keep the peace. Keep the,
That's an Ottawa trip.
good vibes. 3 hours?
Yeah.
It's to Ottawa?
4 hours.
I didn't know that.
I'll be kicking plants if I had to drive all the way down there.
Another 3 hours back and you're mad now.
Damn.
No.
Okay, let's go into this. My husband has a habit of never telling me when he's expecting guests, and to be blunt, I'm kind of tired of it. We have an 8-month-old child, and there has been at least 15 occasions now where he's invited his mother or sister over and not told me, starting from 4 days ago. They both live 3 hours away. Well, my mother-in-law showed up here on Saturday, and I had just laid down with our daughter to take a nap maybe 20 minutes prior. Like, I literally just fell asleep. And then she wrote bracket with my breast out because I breastfeed.
God damn.
And then she said, my mother-in-law and husband walk into the bedroom. I wake up to my husband pulling my shirt back in a decent position and him saying, hey, mom's here to see us. I say, well, I just got the baby down for a nap, so we aren't available. He kind of whispers to me and says, babe, she just traveled 3 hours to see us. You can take a nap after she leaves. I've had the same repeated conversation with this man about my thoughts on guests, and when I've not been informed beforehand, and due to this, I got incredibly pissed off and told him to get out of the room now. Well, my mother-in-law says something to the effect of, come on, up you go. I didn't travel down here for nothing, and starts pulling my blanket off of me. So I snapped and said, yes, you did travel down here for nothing because me and my daughter are not going to get out of our bed unannounced for you. Get out now. My husband just looked embarrassed and told his mom, let's go, and pulled her out of the room as she was bitching and complaining about respect. I heard the front door slam and I went back to sleep. I woke up an hour and a half later and my husband was sitting in the kitchen island with a pissed off look on his face, and as soon as he saw me, he unleashed. Said that he couldn't believe I would embarrass him like that, and that it's not like it would have killed me to get my ass out of bed for 30 minutes so his mother can see me and the baby. I once again told him that unless he loops me in, I'm not open to guests. I'm done not being told what's going on and feeling like I'm in the dark in my own home. Now he swears up and down that he did tell me, when I know for an absolute fact that he did not. He's trying to play the she traveled 3 hours for nothing card, but I truly don't care. I was tired and I needed sleep. Visiting with an unannounced guest was not visiting from an unannounced guest to me was not on my priority list. Am I the asshole?
Damn.
Crazy.
Damn.
That's mad, right?
What do you think? No, you go first.
That's out of pocket on his end.
Okay.
For both of them to even she was breastfeeding, right?
Yeah, she had her breast
when
out.
they both walked in the crib.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes from a household with no boundaries. If you're coming to walk into a person's room and try to pull the blanket off of their shoulder and say, yo, get up out of bed. I don't like in my own household when people don't do that. I've walked in my house and I'm not breastfeeding.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you're breasted out?
No, I've had to have conversations about that. I'm walking into the house. I'm dead tired from a long day. Especially, you remember those overnight security shifts?
Oh, yeah.
And people are in the crib.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're trying to go to sleep and like the walls are thin.
Right.
So people are just yelling and things like that now. No, I can imagine if I'm in the bed now with a child and we're about to take a nap because it's been a long morning or a long night. And then they're pulling the blanket off. It's one thing if they walked in respectfully and say, yo, I forgot to. This man moves like he told her and then tries to pull the blanket off and says, yo, get up out of bed.
Mm.
He's lucky she didn't toss a clock or something.
Interesting. So you think she's in the right?
She's not in the right of me. I'm always in the respect of I respect adults, respect elders. I wouldn't yell at nobody's parents no matter what,
even when they're not respecting you.
I have trouble doing that myself. I don't feel comfortable yelling at. I will have a stern voice in certain situations. I would never yell though. That's not my comfort level. That's not how I was raised. So yeah, but I don't think she's in the wrong for everything else. It's just tone of voice.
I agree with you up until the very end. I don't think there will ever be a time where I'll raise my voice to my mother-in-law. That's not something that I'm responsible for. You know, I think that same energy should have been applied to her husband instead. And then her husband should have voice that to his mom, you know? There should be, if there's a disagreement between me and my mother-in-law, I expect my wife to be the part that like connects us together, right?
Yeah.
I don't think my anger should ever be directed towards her, you know? And I think that's the only gripe I'll hold against her. But for everything else, like there has been so many times where me personally, I've walked home and there's people there. Like I just want to chill. I wasn't told. Till this day, fam, it still happens, you know? And it's like no matter how many times I communicate, hey, could you give me a heads up? I may need the car. Never. So I get where she's coming from, you know? But from a perspective of, you don't have the right to talk to my mom like that. If I was him, I would also be really angry, even though he's in the wrong. To be honest, it's him. He's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not really the mother-in-law that's the problem. It's the guy, it's the husband who's the problem because he made an environment where it's comfortable for anybody to just walk in and walk out of the house.
Not even the house, the bedroom.
Yeah, that too. You know, like especially the wife just pregnant. She just gave birth. She probably, I don't know if it's her first baby or something. She's probably getting used to.
Well, she said we have an 8-month-old baby.
Yeah.
That's probably their only baby.
So it's like, she is tired, bruh. She's raising a whole kid. And for you to bring stress home, your whole job as a man is to make sure the home is a warm environment for your wife.
Yeah.
At least that's what I believe, you know? And for him to bring all these stressors to home, I don't think he's doing his job as a husband, as a man, and I think he's going against his commitment when he was married to her.
100%. I agree with you guys both 100%. And to be honest with you, I see what you're saying, Mukhtar. It's the respect factor for your elders, especially, you know, parents, has to be there no matter what, right? I think in what she did, the wife, I don't think she did anything wrong. I would have done it differently myself. I would have even told, because I didn't hear her say in the story that she told the mother-in-law that she wanted to take a nap. She just responded to her comment about her traveling so far to see her and stuff. You know, I would have just been like, I'm taking a nap right now. I'll see you in a little bit, you know, or just at least address the mother-in-law questioning me at that time if I'm the wife, right? But at the same time, too, there's a huge issue of the husband not being considerate to his wife's needs and his wife's space
and his child's needs
as well. And as well, he has a huge lack of boundaries, like you were saying. You know, there's no boundaries in that man's mind in terms of personal space. You know, like time alone, time to recharge. All of that is the concept of that is not in that guy's brain. It shows from this story. And like you were saying, it's one thing to let somebody in the house, but to let them in the bedroom while your wife is sleeping with the baby is like, what the hell? Okay. You know, that's just common sense needs to be in play here, right? Yeah. So I don't think that this person's the asshole at all. I think that what she did is justified. She had to get, I mean, obviously, you know, snapping at the mother-in-law is not the best way to go about it, but I do believe that she was at her breaking point. She seemed so tired and so exhausted that it was a boiling point. And she said in the story too, there's been 15 occasions of this happening. So this is a culmination of all these things, of all these unannounced guests in her house, and it's drove her to the point where she just blew up on the wrong person. And I can see in her writing this story that she does probably have a guilty conscience about it to some degree, right? She's probably thinking, damn, man, maybe I shouldn't have snapped out like that. But she's also still feels justified in what's happening to her is not right. So I wouldn't say she's the asshole at all. I think her husband's just a little immature, doesn't understand, you know, actual personal space and boundaries.
But he didn't give her, like, we all agree she shouldn't have yelled at the mother-in-law, but he didn't give her a space to show her emotion. He invited her right. She walked in the house. He brought her up into the bedroom. She had to react in the moment.
Crazy.
Exhausted of what's going on and what the circumstances.
Yeah, there wasn't enough time to process it.
Yeah, have a sidebar. Right. Say, hey, my mom's here. Then she could reflect between the couple, and then they can go address the mother-in-law afterwards.
Right.
But you're going to have them, and then she's in the room for that. She cuts out the man. Then the mother is going to come try to pull the blanket off.
Yeah. That's crazy. What's going on in that guy's house, yo? Imagine how that you was raised.
Yo, I wouldn't know how I would feel if that was in that situation. I like to think I wouldn't react. And then I'll wait till the mom is gone to have a conversation.
That's why I think it's like,
I like to think that.
Yeah, if I'm at a boiling point, I don't know what I'm going to say.
And there's been time I raised my voice randomly. And I didn't expect to act like that.
Right.
You know, so hopefully, I don't know. But I just think it's going back to the point. The dude, he's responsible for making sure that his house is solid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And for the wife to not feel safe in her own home, I think that's a fault of the husband after negligence of 50 plus times of not protecting his wife in certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially because he's a newborn too, bro. You're trying to get the idea of bringing somebody to this world, and you're bringing so many stressors to this point where she's just trying to figure out how this works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's making it difficult for her. So at the same time, the mom drove 3 hours, bro. So she came all the way for 10 minutes just to get back.
Just to get kicked out, yeah. Just to get kicked out.
I get where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she is riding with a guilty conscience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
I
think that's a conversation the son should have with his mom and sister
yeah,
to make sure this doesn't happen again.
for
you know?
sure.
Well, I don't think this is gonna happen again with the mother-in-law.
You never know, bro.
Yeah. Well, unless the mother-in-law is just like
Because he doesn't seem like he's like, you know, at the end when he blew up at her.
when
That
she
doesn't
blew,
look like
when he blew up at her.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't look like he's seen himself in the wrong.
Mhm.
He just seen like you were wrong for talking to my mom like that.
Well, he's claiming that he told her, gave her a
I
heads
think
up,
that's cap.
and that's not. She's saying it's cap. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's saying that's not true. He never gave her a heads up.
So he doesn't see himself in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so this will happen again
Mm-hmm.
because he sees himself as clean.
Because in his
decent.
mind, he's thinking about it like, I told her beforehand.
Yeah.
She still chose to take a nap, and she still went crazy when I tried to wake her up at the time we agreed on.
He's delusional.
Yeah, he's delusional.
No,
He's
but I
living in a
would
weird
just
world.
go take my mom to breakfast and go eat somewhere
Yeah.
and then drop her off at the hotel or something like that so we can have the discussion and bring her back in the morning or something. Just give the space, because if you let this separate and she goes all the way 3 hours back and then tells his side of the family, yo, this is what this girl did to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's a bigger rift when there's an 8-month child that everyone wants to see and love on and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Just
point.
go take her to breakfast, take her to a hotel, and then discuss this in the morning.
Right.
Facts.
I also think too, like, I wonder if the mother-in-law, after the fact, would show more empathy to the mother of that baby, knowing that she was in a similar situation probably when she had a baby at that time.
Mhm.
Because that person would know the level, or at least the gravity of like stress and energy that you have to put into being a mother for a baby. So I'm curious to think or to wonder if the mother-in-law has some empathy towards.
I also think there's a generational gap. Like, she may have come from a time where these stuff weren't as prevalent, you know? Because I even talking to my parents right now, sometimes I say stuff to them and they're like, yo, I never said that to my dad. Why do you feel comfortable saying that to me? You know? And I think it's because we live in a different generation where we expect different from how our relationships are, right? So probably that, to your point, maybe that's what was a norm when she was younger with a baby, right?
Right. Okay.
Maybe that's what she was used to.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is her first grandchild and she wants to come often to see.
Yeah.
Because who would drive 3 hours for, I would drive 3 hours for nobody.
Or it could be a cultural thing too.
Like for nobody, bro.
You know?
Yeah, it could be a cultural thing
Could be a
where
cultural
it's like,
thing. Yeah.
I want to be there to support my
Yeah.
son and his wife on the kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some cultures are very like hands-on in the experience of a first baby, or
Yeah.
like the firstborn in the family after their immediate child grows up and gets married. Like some cultures are very used to being very hands-on in that experience, like showing up a lot, taking extra care, and like, keeping a bird's eye view and stuff like that. But naturally in Western society, it's a very reserved thing. The mother and the child relationship, and even the mother, the father, and the child relationship. There's something called the nuclear family.
Yeah.
Right. And that very much matters here in this part of the world.
Yeah.
So it could be a cultural thing. Who knows?
Do you think he's the asshole?
I don't think she's the asshole. I think it's the guy. Yeah, there's no other. It's the guy who's the asshole. The mother, sort of. The mother-in-law, because she should have read the room and not double backed after the guy got cussed out. But yeah, definitely it's the guy.
Is he the asshole?
No, she's not the asshole at all. The husband, sole blame for me. I wouldn't even say that the mother-in-law is to blame too, because I don't know how she took it after the fact.
Mhm.
I just know that she got snapped on. So in that sense, the person who's writing the story, not the asshole.
Mhm.
Justified.
And I just think it's the dude who's the asshole.
Yeah.
The husband. I don't even, to your point, I don't think it's the mom. I think the relationship between the current wife and his mom is managed by the middle person.
Yeah.
And I think the middle person is doing a terrible job. So that's why I don't think the mom is the issue. It's because the the husband abled her to do that.
Yeah.
You know? So he gave her that freedom to feel comfortable coming 15 plus times, you know?
Yeah.
That's the person I think the asshole
But
is.
just last point, me, I believe in giving people emotional space.
Mhm.
So if I see, even if they're not angry at me, if I see someone else, they're having a bad day and I have something to discuss,
Yeah.
if it can wait, I'll save it till the next day or I'll save it for a couple hours. If you see someone, she's clearly angry in the bed already. I don't know what it's like to be a mother-in-law or a mother, but if I see someone that's angry in the bed already, chewed out one person, am I gonna try to take the blanket off? That's why I say she's wrong. Like, it doesn't matter what type of level of respect. You don't go pull someone out of bed if they're clearly exhausted with a child.
Fair. Yeah.
That's where she's the asshole.
She may be a little bit in the wrong, but you
Yeah.
also have to think about it from her past life experiences
Mhm.
and culture. That could be a norm.
I get that, definitely, yeah. But
you're putting that in the perspective of your current mindset.
of you're here now. Because my brother, we once had a conversation about back home, neighbors will come in your house and share a plate with you.
Yeah.
So that I get, but we're here. And
Not
you
mine
should
here.
know the emotions of people here, especially if you're raising kids here.
I think that's a hard thing to ask somebody. So you're saying once you go to a new location, you better familiarize yourself with the current culture. That's what you're saying?
Her kids are grown here.
Okay.
They've grown here. So a little bit, you know how kids act of a certain generation here. After you raised kids, after you've seen their friends and seen everybody, we're acting like she's not dense. You have to know the personalities of people here are not the same personalities back home. So the environment of how culture and the economy works here, adults, the older generation, I applaud our parents and everyone else they're quickly acclimated to what society is here. And the way your parents right now act with you, they probably didn't act with their own siblings back home.
Yeah.
So they are emotionally aware of what the circumstance is.
That's fair.
She just chose to suppress that a little bit. Going in and saying, "Oh, this is my daughter." That's probably where, okay, I can understand. It's probably her first daughter-in-law. She sees her daughter. So she probably walk in her daughter's room and pull the blanket off.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know. I think that's a lot of assuming, though. Not gonna lie.
That's all we have room to.
Yeah.
We don't know these people.
From based off the scenario, yeah, it could be that, but I don't know if it's been
confirmed.
Yeah, I don't think that's been
what part?
Like the idea of the mom doubling down, or even just the idea of the wife seeming angry at the time where the blanket was taken off her. She could have just calmly said, "I'm going to sleep right now."
No, but she snapped. She hasn't even got to the mother-in-law yet. She snapped at the husband.
We don't know if she snapped at that time. Let's read it back.
She snapped.
Let's read it back.
He snapped.
He snapped later on. In the moment he's whispering, "Hey, my mother's here. She traveled 3 hours."
She said,
later on, she
said, "I wake up to my husband pulling my shirt back into a decent position and him saying, 'Hey, mom's here.' I say, 'Well, I just got the baby down for a nap, so we aren't available.' He kind of whispers to me, 'Babe, she just traveled 3 hours to see us. You could take a nap after she leaves.' I've had the same repeated conversation with this man about my thoughts on guests, and I have not been informed beforehand. And due to this, I got incredibly pissed off and told him to get out of the room now." Okay, there you go.
So that she didn't physically say yelling.
Yeah.
But we can only assume that she yelled that.
I hear what you're saying then. Good memory.
Yeah.
Welcome
on, man.
Is it a wrap?
Yeah, I guess we'll leave it off at there.